Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. Hoover, which is a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama, where once again Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes, an absolutely gorgeous afternoon. The Birmingham Barons normally play here. They've taken to the road to make way for Jim Wells and company. Wells, fine baseball coach, University of Alabama, originally out of Louisiana. He is 44-12 this year, 20-10 in conference play. As we look at the Alabama Crimson Tide defense, Kevin behind the plate. You start with Brown. He's made one error in 2 years. Woodward's your starter as we go around. Boyd Stoner, second leading hitter, and quite a fielder as well. Shortstop, the outfield is White. McClanahan, 8 putouts, 8 throwouts this year. There's a look at your starting pitcher for the Crimson Tide. As of just a couple of hours ago, Jim Wells finally said, I'm going to go with Tankersley. The screen says Woodward. Tank is going to be your starter, though.
Well, this is Taylor Tankersley from Vicksburg, Mississippi. He has only made 2 starts so far this year. This will be his first start since March the 2nd against Minnesota.
Look at the Mississippi State batting order. It's not his power punch. I talked with Ron Polk yesterday. Doesn't have a lot of the long ball hitters that he has in the past, but he gets away with some speed. Maniscalco's a fine hitter, leadoff man, a good shortstop as well. Henry Brinson, Kevin, of course, talked about him earlier. And you've got Gendron, Berkeley, Goodson is your DH. Long, Jones, and Mungo. A couple of those guys at the bottom of the order are getting a rare start. Boy, it's a beautiful day, okay?
It's beautiful. The last 3 years we've done this tournament, it's been hot, 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 and today is perfect.
And as usual, Birmingham has showed up in droves.
You take a look at John Magnuson from Gainesville. He'll be behind the plate today. David Savage will be at first base. Mark Chapman from New Orleans, Louisiana is at second, and Ken Couch from Atlanta is over at third.
We're set for game 2. Leadoff hitter Garner, Travis Garner, takes the first pitch for a strike. Garner hitting 300. Maniscalco, a 300 hitter. Doesn't have a lot of pop, just the 1 home run. As that pitch evens the count at 1-1. Maniscalco, Henry, and Brinson. That's just off the inside corner. 2-1. You can hear a lot of State fans have made the drive over from Starkville. As you would expect in Birmingham, you got a few of those donning the crimson and white. Here's the 2-1. That one's fouled back up.
Maniscalco is from Oxford, Alabama, was Mr. Baseball as his senior year. Has started all 56 games this year at shortstop for State and all 180 games in his 3-year career.
Here's a 2-2 from Tank. That one's fouled back about the same spot.
Maniscalco is just what you want in a leadoff hitter. He's going to make contact. He's got good speed. He'll keep you in and at bat. He doesn't strike out much. All he does is put it in play and make you get him out.
Scored 5 runs. There's a line shot now by Brent Boyd. He dropped it momentarily, had to go back over and step on the bag. He timed his jump perfectly, though, Kevin.
Well, nice play both ends here. Maniscalco puts it in play, hits it hard.
Number 5,
right to Brent Boyd. Knocks it down, makes the out at first.
So the 1 down, it'll bring up the number 2 hitter, and it's the second baseman, Chad Henry. Just a shade under 300. Little pop, 4 homers, and 38 runs driven in this year for the Bulldogs. Tankersley, the lefty. That one catches the corner. So 1-1. 1 down here, game 2. Alabama, Mississippi State, to Tide, the number 2 seed. Mississippi State gets in by sweeping Ole Miss last weekend. They're the 7th seed. Here's the 0-1 from Tank. That one's down in the dirt, and a nice stop by Jeremy Brown. Jim Wells didn't give us a lot of notice on his starter, did he? He said Woodward and Carter yesterday, and this morning we get here and he find out. take the count from even 1-1 to 2-1.
Well, the weather that the Southeastern Conference experienced last week, forcing a lot of these teams to play 2 games on Saturday, really messed up the pitching rotations. So a lot of the coaches are having to make that adjustment today.
Right down the chute. Once again, Tank takes the Mississippi State hitter to an even 2-2. Chad Henry awaits the lefty's delivery. He just kind of slapped that one away and spoiled the outside pitch, so it'll stay at 2-2.
It's a good job of 2-strike hitting by Chad Henry. Most coaches tell their hitters 2 strikes, choke up, make contact, and stay alive. As you take a look at the master Bulldog down at third, Ron Polk.
2-2. That one slapped back foul. One thing Mississippi State is doing, Ron Polk, 1,000 victories as an SEC coach last weekend. That's just incredible. And it came against his in-state rival, Ole Miss. But they are making Tank throw a lot of pitches here early. Another look at the 2-2. Taylor Tankersley. There's a little looper. Should drop him right. It does in front of Travis Garner. And Henry, with the 1-out hit, reaches first.
It's a nice job of hitting by Henry there. Taking a fastball on the outer third of the plate, going where it's pitched, and dumps it into right field for a 1-out single.
Like to welcome everybody watching this game on Comcast Sports Southeast. That's Channel 70 in Little Rock, Arkansas. The number 3 hitter is Matt Brinson, the first baseman, a .323 hitter. That's a call strike. 0-1.
This is the guy right here, Matt, as you take a look at his numbers we talked about in the opening. This is the guy that pretty much sets the table for Mississippi State as far as run production, slugging percentage. He was an SEC Player of the Week April 1st. Went 7 for 16 against LSU and had 10 RBIs in one weekend.
He was all over that pitch. Just fouled it straight back. Good time for Tank to change speeds. And they dial it in that close. Try and throw the hitter off. No balls, 2 strikes. Matt Brinson. Tankersley with the delivery. That one's way upstairs. 1-2. 1 out. Henry's aboard.
It's a nice 0-2 pitch right there. 3 straight fastballs from Tankersley. We'll see if he tries to go maybe something off speed away from the hitter on 1-2.
Brinson, a lanky lefty. Lefty, Tankersley delivered. Curveball. I don't think he fooled him too much on that. He was going the other way with it, found it back.
Well, he missed his spot. Catcher was set up a little bit outside. Tankersley came right down the heart of the plate, and he's lucky to get that one back.
Counted 1-2. Tankersley looks to ground. And Wells will signal most of the pitches in from the dugout. The courtesy throw over. Rhythmic clapping by the State fans. Tankersley to the belt. Here's the 1-2. It's off the fist. Could be a tough play. In fact, it will fall foul past the diving Tankersley and Jeremy Brown. Caught that off the fist, didn't he, Kevin?
Well, you hear about there's a Bermuda Triangle out there in short center field where some of these little loopers go. Never have seen a Bermuda Triangle 10 feet in front of the third base box. The 3 guys were chasing that one. Fell between all 3 of them. Nice effort, good hustle by all 3 guys.
Brent Boyd, the first baseman, has come over to chat with his pitcher, Taylor Tankersley. There's a look at your catcher, Jeremy Brown. Brinson, the first baseman. Set to get the 1-2. State fans wanted that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
some of the Alabama umpires in the stands. They thought that was a strike.
The 2-2. So he got him full. All right, Coach Hayes, you send in the runner.
Ron Polk never has been one for a lot of running. He likes to sit back and wait for that 3-run bomb. He's not going to take the bat out of anybody's hands.
Here's the full. They're going to check him over first. And we'll get another look as Taylor Tankersley works out of the stretch. Pretty good lead by Henry at first. Curveball drilled down the right field line. Garner over. He will not catch up with this one. It drops. Henry will come all the way around to third on the sharp single down the right field line by Matt Brinson.
Tankersley tried to nibble at that outside corner 3 pitches in a row with curveballs. That time they come inside with a curveball, and Brinson just turns on it. Watch his hands, how quick those hands are. He turns on that ball and dumps it right down the right field line. And State's got something going here early. First and third, 1 out.
Good job of hitting by Brinson, because that ball was definitely moving down. Swung under. Brinson's aboard. Runner at the corners. The Tide is in trouble here early. 1 out. The cleanup hitter is Steve Gendron, the third baseman. That just missed.
Gendron's another 56-game starter. Has started all 56 games all year. This is only his 10th start at third base today. 47 in right field.
Left-handed. Gendron just fouls that one back. Mississippi State is issuing a lot of souvenirs here at the SEC tournament. They have fouled off Tank time and time again. Again, runners at first and third. Tankersley out of the stretch. Dribbles that one out in front of the mound. Tank checks the runners, goes to Boyd, and that's a big out for Alabama.
Number 20, the catcher, Jason Berkeley.
That's a nice job by Tankersley, knowing the situation. Checking that runner back to third base and getting the easy at it first. Now he has a chance to get out of the inning with Berkeley, the catcher, coming up.
Brinson did alertly trot down to second, so both runners are now in scoring position for the catcher. 266 hitter. He's got some pop now. 6 round trippers and 38 RBI. They can pick his inside. 1-0.
Berkeley started 50 games this year at catcher for Mississippi State. Missed 3 games during the season to a thumb injury. Kind of aggravated it a little bit last week against Ole Miss in that first game on Saturday. He took a foul ball off his wrist. Be interesting to see if Alabama tries to run on him today as the game wears on, to see if that wrist and that thumb have both healed correctly.
Real hitters count now for Berkeley. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. Runners at second and third for Mississippi State. We are in the top half of the first inning. Fastball is up. It's 3-0.
Well, the base open. Alabama's being very careful with Berkeley. He's hitting 400 in his last 5 Southeastern Conference games. And Robbie Goodson coming up next. Might take their chance with a lefty instead of the right-handed Berkeley.
Here comes the 3-0. Manipulated out. Walk him on fourth frame. So that'll load the bases for Goodson. Goodson is the designated hitter.
34, designated hitter, Robbie Goodson.
Alabama playing it by the book here. It's one of those unintentional, intentional walks to a right-handed hitter to get to the left-handed hitting Goodson.
Goodson's on an 8-game, career-high 8-game hitting streak. The the month of May, Goodson is tearing it up, hitting .484. Hey, look at the 0-1. He's going the curveball again. He misses away. It's 1-1. Tankersley out of Vicksburg, Mississippi. As Kevin told you at the top of our telecast, it's just his 3rd start of the year. Goodson with a 1-1. Line drive, left center, that will drop. Henry will score. The play is back to second. A big lanky left-hander, Brinson scores, and the Bulldogs have taken the early 2-0 lead. Good piece of hitting there by Robbie Goodson, who continues his torrid hitting in the month of May.
Goodson takes a fastball right over the heart of the plate. Inside out swing to left center. He's hitting .500 in his last 5 conference games. And like you said, Matt, he continues his hot streak. That's going to draw a visit to the mound from Jim Wells. I don't honestly think that Alabama folks were counting on Tankersley to go deep into the game, but I think they were wanting him to get at least through the 1st inning.
No question about that. No, and he had a chance, you know, when he got the chopper back in front of the mound. He had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, but then the unintentional and intentional walk. And then the clutch hit by Goodson plates 2 Bulldogs. That'll bring up Casey Long, the center fielder. .319 hitter. Driven in 30. He's got a chance to do more here with 2 out in the visitors half of the 1st inning here at the Hoover Met. State's already leading 2-0. It's up, perhaps a tad away. It's 1-0.
Not a whole lot of platooning in the Mississippi State lineup. Casey Long, another one of those guys, has started all 56 games this year at center field. Like Maniscalco at short, Brinson at first.
Quick snap throw back down to second. A good throw might have had him. An alert play by Brown. Pavkovich not quite over on the bag, but the throw was on the 3rd base side. Let's look at Berkeley. He's at 2nd. Goodson is at 1st, and Long is in the box. Really wide stance. Curveball ground ball left field. And holding is the big guy, Berkeley, the catcher, will hold at 3rd, so the bases are loaded.
Ron Polk waited a long time before making a decision on Berkeley. He didn't throw up that stop sign until Berkeley had already touched the bag. Chad White in left field overthrowing his cutoff man. Berkeley runs like most catchers, so Ron Polk, being the veteran that he is, does not want to make that last out at the plate.
That'll bring up the number 8 hitter, 8 to the plate. Enrico Jones, the right fielder. And that's a ball. Jones with a rare start. His 11th, I believe, on the year. Tank's still in trouble.
Jones only his 11th start of the year, batting .190. He's in there because he's a right-handed hitter against the lefty on the mound.
And he's ahead in the count 2-0. Tankersley delivers, and that was right down Trace Crossers, which is the name of the road that leads to the Hoover Met. It's 2-1, 2 out. State still with the bases loaded, 2 already in the first half of the 1st. That one's away. It's 3-1. No place to put Enrico Jones.
Tankersley's just going to have to throw one right in the zone here and take his chances.
Jim Wells sent the pitch in. Tank. Ooh, a little delayed call on the home plate umpire, John Magnuson. So it's full count, 2 outs. And bases are loaded. The runners will be on their way. Strike three call. Enrico Jones takes strike three. But the Mississippi State Bulldogs do draw first blood here in the first half of the first inning. They played a couple. State 2. The Crimson Tide's coming to bat.
Watch the opening round games of the SEC Baseball Championship Tournament only on CSS. It all begins with first round action live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central on Wednesday, May 22nd. And tune in again the next day with 4 more games from the second round. CSS then brings you bonus coverage with the If Necessary games on Saturday night. Only CSS gives you a front row seat for these games at the SEC Championship. CSS, it's your source for sports in the Southeast.
We go to the Alabama half of the first inning on CSS SEC Baseball. First, a look at the Mississippi State defense. Mungle, Long, and Gendron, your outfielders. Henry and Maniscal go with a great middle. And Brinson, the slugging first baseman. Brock is your pitcher, and Berkeley is behind the plate.
There you take a look at Tanner Brock as opposed to Tankersley for Alabama. Tanner Brock, very experienced starter. This is his 47th start. 58th career appearance at Mississippi State.
He's usually their number 2 guy in the 1-2-3 series of pitchers you'll send usually during the conference season. Your batting order for the Crimson Tide: Garner, Stonard, Brown, McClanahan, Boyd, Herod, White, Pavkovich, and Rice, who will be starting at third base. Boyd and Rice have been struggling. Garner will lead things off. He's the right fielder, hitting 344, and he can go deep on you. 5 home runs this year, 25 RBIs, and he's also known to swipe a base or 2. And Wells, as opposed to his cross dugout coach, Ron Polk will run. First pitch is a ball. Tanner Brock. Brock working pretty quickly here early. Looks to Berkeley, the catcher. That's a strike. It's 1-1.
Brock, in his 58 appearances during his career at Mississippi State, has made it past the 5th inning in all but 2 of those starts. Very durable, very dependable pitcher.
And he's gotten ahead of Travis Garner, Bama's leadoff man here. 1-2. And the righty delivers. And just missed outside. Evens count at 2-2. And the 2-2. Checked his swing and fouled it back. The on-deck hitter is Peter Stoner. Jeremy Brown bats in the 3-hole. Here comes the 2-2. Off-speed drill down the left field line. Mungle giving chase. That was going to take 1 hop off the wall. Over the head of Mungle, and cruising in the second with a leadoff double is Travis Garner. And Kevin Hayes, that's got the Bama faithful up and on.
Well, the Alabama Sticks have been kind of silent for the last week and a half as they struggle at Baton Rouge, but Travis Garner getting Alabama off to a good start with a 1-hopper off the left field wall. Takes a little change up off the inner third. Mungle does a good job of getting to it, getting it back to the infield.
You could almost see Garner's eyes light up from here as he takes his lead from second. Stoner hitting .411. .411. He takes the first pitch on the corner. It's a strike. .411. That's some Dave Magadan-like numbers, isn't it?
There was an article in the Birmingham paper this morning about comparisons of Stonard and Dave Magadan, and some people think that by the time Stonard finishes at Alabama, he will have a shot to break Dave Magadan's .529 single season batting average record.
That is some high cotton there. Here's the 0-1. He tries to drag bunt, and it's fouled back into the glove of Berkeley. So Stoner, that's where you really see a 4-11 hitter with an 0-2 count. Perhaps he'll choke up on it a little bit. And the thing that Jim Wells says it's going to enable him to hit higher than 4-11 perhaps next year is the fact that he just hits so well to all fields. And right now a single would certainly be welcome with a runner in scoring position. That's Garner, the leadoff hitter, who just doubled. That one's away. It's 1-2.
Well, the thing that Stoner's going to have to deal with next year is he's not going to have McClanahan and Jeremy Brown hitting behind him. So this year he's getting a lot of good pitches to hit. Next year might not be the case. Still, he's a doggone good hitter.
He's from Clayton, Missouri. They got him on the outside corner as Magnuson rang him up.
Number 14.
You don't see Stoner do that very often.
Take a look at that pitch. It's awful close.
Berkeley framed it well too.
Anytime you have two strikes against you, you got to be up there looking to swing the stick.
Jeremy Brown, the .330 hitting catcher, steps in, and he can go deep on you. 10 home runs, 55 RBIs. He and McClanahan lead the team with 55 each. Brock out of the stretch. Checks Garner, delivers. 1-0.
Jeremy Brown, a senior, has just done about everything in Alabama but drive the bus. Third base, first base, catcher. A semi-finalist for the Johnny Bench Award this year, and only his second year at the position.
He's out of nearby Hueytown, Alabama. A lot of people think they're known for stock car drivers, which that little city is, but they've put out some pretty good baseball players.
Jeremy Brown 5 RBI short of the all-time Alabama career record.
Russ Davis just finished a stint in the big leagues out of Hueytown. Here's the 2-0. Took a little off of it, got it over. Scott McClanahan is on deck.
That's good discipline right there by Jeremy Brown. Already 2 runs down. You don't want to. He may have had the green light, but he's got enough discipline to know that he's going to have some possibly better pitches to hit.
Brock is a little bothered by Garner. He steps off the rubber. And we'll start over again with a 2-1. State plated 3 in their half of the first. Bama's trying to answer. 2-1, 1 out. Semi-play back to second. Chad Henry went over. Henry is cheating over. There is a huge gap between second and first. The runner goes. Berkeley's throw is high and in with a stolen base to Travis Garner. They had cause for concern, did they not, Kevin? They checked him back a couple times. Never threw, but did turn twice.
Travis Garner gets a good jump. A lot of people think it's easier to steal third than it is second because you get a bigger lead. That time Travis gets a good jump. Takes his 19th stolen base of the season on 23 attempts.
And now Brown will draw the base on ball. Also think it hurt Berkeley when it was a breaking ball because he had to wait on it and pull it out low and then make the throw, and it was high. So Alabama now has runners at first and third, as did State in their half of the first. And it'll bring up the number 4 hitter in the cleanup spot. That's Scott McClanahan, the center fielder.
And just like Mississippi State did in the top half, they got the guy they wanted up there with runners in scoring position in Brinson. This is who Alabama wants up there, Scott McClanahan.
Driven in 55 runs. He'd like to add to that. There's a long fly ball. Left field. Going back. Longo at the wall. It's gone. McClanahan saw the first offering from Brock and airmailed it over the wall in left field, and Bama has answered and taken a 3-2 lead.
out there, looks first ball fastball. Gets one up in the zone. Takes it deep to left field for his 13th home run of the season. RBIs 56, 57, and 58.
And I believe Mungel may have lost his glove over the wall as he went up and tried to catch that. He's got it back. Somebody had to run down beyond the wall in left field and get it for him.
One of those where you have to just lean over the wall and say, hey, a little help.
Hey, let's take another look.
Watch Mungel. He thinks he has a beat on it here and just runs out of room, and there goes the glove.
We have got fireworks going in game 2 from the Hoover Met already. State scored 2 in their half of the first. Now Alabama has answered with 3. The huge blast from the bat of McClanahan. The 3-run homer. It's 3-2, and for Brock, the pitcher, it doesn't get a lot better as Brent Boyd steps in. Strike at 3-0. Boyd was on his way to first.
Matt, do you get the feeling already in game 2 that we may be on to another classic, epic Bama State SEC tournament game?
I've seen a few 13-12 and 11-10s. There's a ground ball to second. It's gloved by Henry. Over to Brinson, and there's the second out of the inning. So Boyd will go 4-3. The second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Chad White. I'd like to welcome everyone watching the game on Charter Sports Southeast, Channel 21 in Greenville, South Carolina. Pretty part of the country. That's on the outside corner. A strike for Brock, and his first offering to Chad White. 0-1, 2-out delivery. That was just a little high, perhaps a tad outside. It's 1-1. Brock, the 1-1. There's a line drive to left field. Mungel draws a beat on this one, though, and hauls it in. But not before the Crimson Tide plays 3 on the blast by Scott McClanahan. The Tide leads it now 3-2. You're watching SEC baseball on CSS. Birmingham, Alabama. We're in the burbs out in Hoover, bringing you all the action of Southeastern Conference baseball. And we have had some action already. Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes, and the Tide answer State in their half of the first inning. It's 3-2, so they'll leave the tank man out there. The lefty who got roughed up in the first inning will face the number 9 hitter, John Mungel, who had a lot of activity there in the Tide half of the first inning, and then back to the top of the order. He feigned a bunt, took the stride. Mungel's hitting .375 as he bats from the left side of the plate. And that was fun. You throw your pitcher a 3 spot up in your half, and suddenly maybe the confidence starts to hone in. Here is the 0-2. Tried to get him to go at the outside fastball, did not. It's 1-2. Mungel, a freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, takes that one upstairs. 2-2.
Mungel's a 46-game starter, 27 at the designated hitter role. This is his 20th start in left field. He also has a hot bat, 500 in the last 5 games.
Oh, the curveball had Mungel bending the knees, but it missed. And after jumping up 0-2, Tank now finds himself for the full count. The lefty delivers. Fastball pops straight up the silo. Second and short calling. It will be Pavkovich, and he gloves it. 1 out. So 1 down. It'll bring up the top of the order for Ron Polk's Bulldogs.
Number 7, shortstop
Matthew Maniscalco. 300 hitter. He lined to Boyd at first, who dropped it momentarily and ran over to make the 3 unassisted. That misses. It's 1-0.
Now second time through the lineup for Mississippi State. Tankersley, lots of fastballs and changeups first time through. See if he makes any adjustments.
Just a little late on that one. Fouls it back.
Didn't throw a whole lot of off-speed breaking stuff to right-handed hitters. He did to the lefties. We'll see if that pattern stays or if he makes just a little bit of an adjustment second time through.
Tankersley, 6'1", 195-pounder. Fly ball down the right field line. It will drift foul. Take a hop. Going to the grassy knoll area they call here at the net. So it's 1-2. That's a good look at the crowd and a good look at this beautiful ballpark. Here comes the 1-2 from Tankersley. That one's very much upstairs. It's 2-2.
You see Tankersley telling himself, get it down, get it down.
Maniscalco with the 2-2. Curveball, he waited on it. 2 hops to the third baseman. Rice over to Boyd, and there's 2 quick outs. So Tankersley looking a lot different than he did in the first inning.
Number 5, second baseman Chad Henry.
Yeah, he looks a lot more comfortable out there. It's an awful lot to ask a kid to go out who hasn't started in over 2 months to go out there and start the first game of a tournament like this. So now that the first inning jitters are over, we'll just see how long Tankersley can last, how much he's got in the tank, huh?
Exactly. Chad Henry fists one. Boyd will glove it at first. Quick 1-pitch one out there. So they go 1-2-3 to the Bulldogs in the first half of the second inning. Good inning for Tankersley. After 1.5, Bama leads on CSS 3-2. CSS baseball here in the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. Be the first unofficial SEC baseball championship gear from the official online store for the SEC. It's SECstore.com. Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes. It's 3-2 Alabama, and we've only played an inning and a half. There you see the line score. 2-4-0 for the Bulldogs. 3-2-0 for the Crimson Tide. Bo Harrod will step up, the designated hitter for the Tide, to lead things off in the bottom of the second inning. Facing Tanner Brock. Checked his swing. That's foul. Look at Bo Harrod there. From Jennings, Louisiana. 5'10", 200-pound junior. Chops that one foul. It's 0-2.
Harrod started 53 of the 56 games for Alabama as a DH. Got to be licking his chops when he sees those maroon jerseys out there. He had 2 home runs against Mississippi State back on May the 10th.
That was in the sweep of Mississippi State at Tuscaloosa. That ball missed badly. 1-2. It's a gopher pitch. Trying to get him to go for it. He did not. Way outside and up. Brock. 1-2. There's there are other kinds of gopher balls as well.
Well, that 1-2 pitch was a lot better than the 0-2 pitch. The 0-2 pitch really didn't have a whole lot of purpose. 2 or 3 feet outside. You wanted to at least get that batter to think about swinging at it. 1-2 pitch was a little closer to the zone.
Just missed inside there. They were running full. The Illinois State crowd wanted that one. Good baseball fans out of Starkville really know their stuff. Here's the 3-2. Line drive. Diving second baseman Chad Henry could not come up with it. May have dove a little early, actually. And that has Bama's leadoff hitter aboard once again.
Number 4,
Harrod takes a
shortstop Adam
3-2
Patterson.
fastball and just fists it out into right field, just past the second baseman Henry. Alabama getting some production from the lower third of their lineup already here in the bottom of the second inning.
Shortstop Adam Havkovich, 278 hitter. Took that one down.
You almost expect Pavkovich to be bunting in this spot. He already has 11 on the season. Needs only one more sacked bunt to tie for the Alabama single season record, which is held by Nate Duncan back in 1997.
Here's the 1-0. He didn't show a bunt there. It's upstairs. 2-0 now. Pavkovich looks down. Gets a sign. Maybe he's getting the bunt sign this time, Kevin. 2-0. Oh, he's gone 3 straight.
Well, you look for him to take one here as you see Jim Gatewood directing traffic down at third base. Look for him to take one here. Run it to 3-1, and then Alabama might try to put something on.
Evans over for a strike. Havkovich gets all the way back in the box now. He's got that right foot on, or maybe even over the line. Of course, you know, the first right-handed hitter of the game, his responsibility is to erase that line, and they've done a good job here, both teams. Allen's in there. It'll run the count to 4. Did the umps like that when they get in there and they start messing up the batter's box? Racing the back, they just pretty much expect it.
Hey, as long as they don't make contact with the ball while outside the batter's box, they don't care.
Here's the 3-2. Runner goes. Foul back to do it again. It's just a good park to ump in. Good vision, that kind of thing is all.
Great vision, and when they put all the green covers over the outfield walls, like you see in the shot there, over all the advertising that the Barons have when they're here, it makes for a great hitting ballpark. It's a good batter's eye out in center field. It's a good pitcher's park because it's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's based on the design of Kaminsky in Chicago, because the Barons are a Chicago White Sox team. 3-2, runner goes, doesn't matter. Ball 4 to Pavkovich. That puts runners at first and second, and nobody out for the number 9 hitter, third baseman Alan Rice.
Number 26,
Action for
third
Mississippi
baseman,
State.
Alan Rice.
Fletcher loosening up, the right-hander. A little bit of trouble for that man, Tanner Brock. Gave up the big home run to McClanahan in the first inning, and he's got trouble with nobody out. 2 on here in the bottom half of the second. Rice.
Saw Alan Rice squared a bunt there as the pitcher wheeled towards second base. That play was put on by Mississippi State to see if the batter would square the bunt. You would think with the 9-hole hitter up, first and second, no outs, this is an obvious bunt situation. Alan Rice, the freshman from nearby Pelham, Alabama.
He lays down a beautiful bunt. Coach Mike O'Berry over Pelham High School is proud of that one. And the crowd, Alabama, too, has a high IQ when it comes to their baseball knowledge, and they recognize what Rice just did. Advanced both runners into scoring position with the sacrifice bunt. So 1 down and back to the top of the order for the Tide, and Garner, who scorched a double in his first at-bat and then came around to score after stealing third. So he's had a very productive day already. Garner, the Tide's right fielder. He jumps on the first pitch and fouls it down. The crowd, some taking an early lunch, some taking a mid-afternoon lunch, but really starting to file into the Hoover Met now. A strike to the leadoff hitter Garner, and takes that one upstairs. It's 1-1.
I think I heard on a local morning talk show where they had 5,400 people at Montreal last night for the Braves game, and there was a prediction that there would be more than that here today for this game, as you see Brock's pitch count up into the second inning.
Ooh, just missed. And what possible radio show could that be?
I think one that you're vaguely familiar with, my friend.
And thanks for the plug on WJOX right here in Birmingham. Some of the guys on our crew were listening on the way in. There's a line drive, shortstop. He needs to throw over, and he does. I think Maniscalco was trying to get the ump to say I caught it in the air. He did not. The run scores. It's 4-2.
That's a nice play by a veteran shortstop, Maniscalco, showing the umpire, make him make the call. There you see the second base umpire making the call, immediately letting everybody in the yard know that the ball was trapped. This Mark Chapman at second base being in the right position to make the right call.
And how big is the sacrifice by Alan Rice now?
Well, not only that, but if Maniscalco catches that one in the air, you probably have yourself a triple play because both runners were moving with the pitch.
Yep, 1-1. Stonard is your batter. A rare strikeout for him in the first inning. And he's going to loop one into short center field. Coming on and then stopping is Casey Long. He thought about going and leaving his feet and laying out. Thought better of it. Another Tide player scores. In this case, it's the shortstop Avkovich, and the Tide has a 5-2 lead.
Catcher Jeremy Brown.
Nice job of hitting, just goes down and gets it. I thought Casey Long was going to make this catch, but right at the last minute you see him stop there, plays it off the hop. Coaches have differing views on how they want their outfielders to play a ball like that. Some coaches say, hey, I want you going after everything, let the guy back you up. Other coaches say, hey, look, no dives, let's keep it in front of us, play station to station and make them earn it.
Jeremy Brown is the hitter. He walked and scored the first inning. Well, the runner at third there, I'm not sure you lay out. I mean, you don't just lay out and try and get him because he's going to score.
Well, I like that thought too, especially with 2 outs and a runner on third. If you don't catch it, he's going to score anyway.
Throw over. Jeremy Brown steps out momentarily. Stonard gets the lead at first and draws some attention again from the pitcher Tanner Brock.
Stonard does have 16 stolen bases on the season. Jeremy Brown at the plate has good bat control and makes good contact, so Mississippi State thinking Alabama may put something on here.
The runner does go. Berkeley's throw down is in time. He got it. Nice throw by Berkeley. The tag is applied, and the Tide goes down, but not before putting 2 more on the board. Alabama leads after 2 complete, 5-2 over Mississippi State. You're watching SEC Tournament Baseball on CSS. We've got more baseball and more baseball. Coverage of the 2002 SEC Baseball Tournament continues on CSS this evening. 45 minutes after the conclusion of this game, LSU takes on Auburn right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Kevin Hayes, myself, Matt Coulter, will happily bring you that one as well. Tankersley, who got roughed up in the first inning and ended up giving up 2 runs to Mississippi State, cruised through the second inning as he sent down the Bulldogs 1-2-3, and it'll bring up the number 3 hitter, hard-hitting first baseman Matt Brinson. He singled and scored back in the first inning. Big, tall lefty.
Brinson continuing the tradition of great hitting first baseman at Mississippi State. Goes all the way back to Will Clark back in the mid-'80s. First base coach Tommy Raffo back in a few years ago at Mississippi State.
He's a big fella too. He's 6'5", 231 from Brandon, Mississippi. Matthew Brinson fouls that one right back at us.
The thing about Brinson too, not only is he a good hitter, But he's a good defender as well. He was voted by Baseball America as the top defensive first baseman in the Southeastern Conference.
Holds the hands close back up behind back of his head. It's 2-1. He looked like that height, he might be able to go to his left too. The 2-1 pops that one up, and I believe it's going to make the seats. In fact, it will. Now leaving it up at 2-2. Fan with a nice catch. There's a Tiger waiting on his team. As we just told you, they play next against LSU. By the way, Kevin, LSU may be playing as well as anybody. They had a very slow start. I know Smoke was disappointed in that, but they have turned it on here lately. There is a fly ball to short right field. Could be trouble. Second baseman goes out. He can't handle it, and it drops in front of Travis Garner. Stoner had to look right back, in his defense, had to look right back up into the sun. And I believe that had a definite. Oh, he just had to finally turn away. Just could not handle the sun.
Well, Stoner looked like he had a beat on it, and then almost looked like he backed off. He must have heard something. I couldn't tell whether Garner was calling him off or not.
The way he kind of covered that head in a protective measure makes me think he lost it in the bright sunshine. I do not see a cloud in the sky. Very high sky. Difficult to deal with. There's a line drive to center. On comes Scott McClanahan. Takes it on one hop. Tries to get the force at second. Cannot. Alertly, Brinson got down to break up the force at second. Quick thinking by Scott McClanahan as well.
This is a great play all the way around. Nice hit by Gendron into center field. McClanahan hustling all the way, knowing the situation. And Brinson, nice job of base running. He's got to be in a spot to where he can either get back to first base on a catch or get to second base on a trap.
Gendron hit that ball on the screws. Jason Berkeley, the catcher, as Brinson draws some attention from Tankersley. So quickly, Mississippi State mounts a rally in the top half of the third inning. 2 on and nobody out. Berkeley drew a walk back in the first. Fouls that one back. State fans with some rhythmic clapping. The 0-1. Big curveball. Bounces over Tank. Shortstop. Abkovich throws over in a nice play. Runners will advance to second and third alertly. A 1 down.
Number 34.
Robbie Goodson. Did some damage back in the first inning. Slapped that single in. First couple of runs of the game. So Goodson, the left-hander, steps back in. Just missed with the fastball. State trying to answer here in the top half of the third inning. 2 runners in scoring position for Goodson. And 1 out. Big old sweeping curveball. Goodson rocking a little bit there, Kevin.
For those of you professional baseball enthusiasts, as you take a look at the pitch again, nice overhand looping curveball that stays up. You may have seen Tankersley go to his mouth right before that pitch while still in the dirt. College baseball, that is perfectly legal.
Here's the 2-0. Got the outside corner there. It's 2-1. There's a look at Tankersley, who's kind of roller coastering it. Had a tough first inning, cruised to the second. Now he's getting roughed up a little here in the top half of the third. Goodson almost hit it. He just got out of the way of that fastball. There are your runners, Brinson and Gendron. Both singled. One with a pop to short right field. The other one with a howitzer to center. There's that big roundhouse curveball once again for the lefty, and again he misses, and so the bases are now loaded for Casey Long.
Number 33, center fielder.
We take a look at Tankersley's pitch count. 2 1/3 innings in. I don't think that Jim Wells is as concerned with pitch count with a guy like Tankersley, who has not been a starter most of the year, as he is with just see how far this guy can get us and keep us close.
He was looking on his Mississippi State lineup to see Casey Long and his numbers there. He singled back in the first. He's a .318 hitter on the year. And he has got a chance to help out the State Bulldogs. That's upstairs, and now Tank's having a little difficulty finding the strike zone. In case you're wondering, Long has not gone deep all year. What a time to do so, as I believe we're going to get some activity down in the Alabama bullpen. He misses there. It's 2-0.
Alabama's going to send Jared Woodward down to the bullpen to get loose. He's been their Wednesday starter all season long. As you take a look at Woodward, some people thought that he might be the starter today,
including me.
At the last moment, Jim decided to go with Tankersley. So bringing Woodward in this early in the game would not be that big of a surprise for Alabama people.
We thought it would be Jared Woodward or perhaps Brent Carter. In the last minute, Jim Wells went with Tankersley. Here is the 2-0 to Casey Long, the Mississippi State center fielder. That one's right down the chute. It's 2-1. One down, and bases are full of Bulldogs. Enrico Jones would be next. The lefty looks, the 2-1 delivery. Oh, he blew that one right by Casey Long. He was not catching up with that one.
It's one of the first times today we've seen Tankersley actually go out and challenge a hitter behind in the count. See if he comes back with another inside fastball or if he goes away from him on 2-2.
Here's the 2-2. Again, the bases are jammed. One out. Well, I believe Long may have swung at ball 3 right there. That was up. He just kind of reached the aluminum up there and slapped it back foul.
Yeah, 2-1 fastball in. 2-2 fastball up and away. See if they come back inside again, try to saw one off or catch him leaning over the plate.
Location, location, location. Let's see where he goes here. 2-2. He blew it right by him. Good call there, Kevin.
Yeah, let's take a look at the pitch sequence here during the at-bat. Change up away. Change up away. Fastball down the heart. Fastball down in. Fastball away. Fastball away.
That last fastball had some giddy up on it. In fact, 2 in that pitch sequence did. So 2 down now, and that brings up Enrico Jones with a lazy can of corn to right field. Garner comes on to the Tide, gets out of a huge jam. Bases were loaded with just 1 out, but Tankersley got out of it. We played 2.5, and the Tide leads it 5-2. Hey, get all of the official SEC team gear you're looking at your SECstore.com, whether it's apparel, collectibles, or gear. You can design it yourself. In fact, the SEC store has it all. So go to the SECstore.com today. We've got official gear from all the SEC teams, apparel, collectibles, and more. Again, that's SECstore.com. Alabama 5-4-0. Mississippi State 2-6-0. The Bulldogs have out-hit the Tide. Alabama has been more timely with their base hits, most notably with Scott McClanahan's 3-run homer. We'll see him as the second hitter in this inning. The leadoff hitter will be Jeremy Brown. walked and scored back in the Tide's big first inning. Tanner Brock still on the hill, the right-hander for Mississippi State. Fastball is in. It's 0-1. Brock looks to Berkeley, his catcher, and now Jeremy Brown says you're taking a little bit too much time. He steps out. Now back in. Away. Evens it. 1-1.
Of course, Jeremy Brown was up at the plate at the end of last inning when Peter Stoner was caught stealing 2-6 for the third out.
There is a little looper into right field. Jones will not get to it. And Brown thought momentarily about trying to dig for second, but he put on the brakes and he'll take the bloop single. Scott McClanahan did a lot of damage with that one. Ping sounded sweet there, and watch the left fielder. Longo lose his glove. And in addition to that, Mississippi State lost the lead as the 3-run homer made it 3-2, and high fives for the house. Scott McClanahan, and he steps back in here, batting from the right side. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, he went first pitch, first swing last time, but he will not this time as he takes the ball.
This young man has a great future ahead of him in professional baseball. He has been a leadoff hitter. He's been a cleanup hitter. He's played all 4 years at the same position, center field.
He drills another one. That's into the gap in left center field, but the center fielder, Long, on his horse, comes over and makes the catch. Jeremy Brown has got to get back to first. He thought that one was against the wall as well. So McClanahan gives another one a ride, but this one is hauled down in center field by Casey Long, who did a nice job of covering some real estate here at the Met.
He sure did. Scott McClanahan takes this one to the deepest part of the yard against the wind. Casey Long makes the catch and gets it back in. Jeremy Brown, meanwhile, went around second base, had to retouch and get back to first. Nice job of base running by Brown, knowing the situation.
Brings up Boyd, who rips a single into center field. So he's now 1 for 2, having grounded out back in the first inning. So Alabama's got something going on here again in the third inning. They scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second. Here in the third, they're rallying again with 2 on and just 1 out. The hitter is Chad White.
And if you're an Alabama fan, you gotta like seeing Brent Boyd dump that one into center field. That's only his 4th hit in his last 31 SEC at bats. If they can get him off the schneid here for the tournament, with McClanahan and Brown hitting as well as they are, Mississippi State's going to make a pitching change. Alabama's going to be a hard team to beat if Boyd gets out of his slump.
Ron Polk has seen enough. Tanner Brock is going to take a short shower, or a shower after a short stint. We'll change pitchers and be back on CSS. Your pitching change in a moment as we're back here on CSS. This summer, tune in right here Thursday nights for championship boxing. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast.
New pitcher for Mississippi State is a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore from Hattiesburg, Jeff Latcher. There you take a quick look at his numbers, 2-2 on the year. This will be appearance number 16 for him, 31 1/3 innings pitched. 27 strikeouts, 11 walks. And when you come in a situation like this, Matt, long relief, your only job is to just hold them where they're at, as the old saying goes.
And Chad White.
I know all my old English teachers are not going to like me hear that, but that's the cliche, and I have to just directly quote the cliche.
White, the Tide's left fielder. Latcher steps off for a moment. 2 on, 1 out for Latcher as he steps in to try and put out the fire. And that one's up. And I can imagine White might have a take sign or two here as they let Latcher find his control. He found it. White found it foul. Pushed it foul down the left field line. They didn't take many, did he?
Well, I'm not a betting man, Matt, but when I saw those lineups today, you got a guy like Tankersley for Alabama and a guy like Brock for State, who's gone at least into the 6th inning and all but 2 starts in his career. I'd have lost some money as to who would have gone to the pen first today.
Well, I think you would have been alone in that line. Another foul back. It's 1-2. Latcher's getting it up there. He's catching White a little off guard because he's fouled both those pitches back and away late. Righty versus lefty, the 1-2. Away 2-2.
Good purpose pitch by Latcher there. White behind on his fastballs, shows him a little off speed away, tries to get him to go after it. You don't want to do anything to speed up the bat here, so look for Latcher to come back with a fastball.
That one's up. It's full.
Wouldn't look for Alabama to start anything here. Chad White's been a spot starter all year. Jeremy Brown, who does not run that well at second base. Full count with only 1 out. You don't want to run yourself into something here. Take the bat out of the hands of Bo Herod, who's on deck.
Brown and Boyd aboard. He sends the runner. There's a fly ball, line shot into right. Jones is not going to catch up with that one. It is off the wall. Jeremy Brown is waving his partner Boyd behind him in, and a 1-out double has the Crimson Tide with another 2 spot in the 3rd inning, and Alabama now leads it 7-2. He absolutely hit the daylights out of that pitch.
Well, that shows what I know. They send the runners. Chad White hits a bomb out, 1 hops to the outfield fence. And Alabama scores 2 here in the 3rd. That's why we're sitting up here, not in the dugout flashing signs, right?
You said it, partner, not me, but you're absolutely correct. Big hit by Chad White as he leads off second. And what a rude greeting to Jeff Latcher. Herod steps in. He singled to right and scored back in the 2nd inning. He's got a chance with the runner in scoring position. Latcher looks back at White and steps off. I hope you settled in there, partner. We may be here a while.
It sure beats work.
You got that right. That one's away. It's 1-1.
I've always said anytime you can come to the yard and not have to pay to get in, it's not a bad deal.
Especially when you got SEC baseball, because I don't think it gets any better from coast to coast than it does right here. Here's the 1-1 with 1 out. Took a little off. It's inside. He missed. It's 2-1.
Well, there are some Southeastern Conference teams that are not in this tournament that are good enough to go to regionals.
Yeah.
Ask Mike Bianco at Ole Miss. Those guys are in the top 10 for most of the season. They go into the tank for the last 2 weeks, and Arkansas sneaks in by taking 2 out of 3 against Auburn last week.
Latcher had some giddy up on that one. 2-2 as he blew it past Bo Herod. Good look at your runner at second. That's White, who just doubled over the right fielder Enrico Jones' head and plated 2 Crimson Tiders. Here's the 2-2. It's a good pitch there. He got Bo to chase it. That's a strikeout, and there's now 2 downs.
Number 4,
2 down.
Gets him a 2-2 with good fastballs, then comes in, just pulls the string. Nice curveball about 3 or 4 inches off the plate. 2 strikes. You got to be protecting the dish up there, and Bo Herod just swings right through it.
Latcher will now face Adam Pavkovich. He walked and scored back in the 2nd. Oh, Latcher blew that one by. to me like the last couple of hitters, Latcher's kind of said, let's toss the nibbling around out the window. I'm going to challenge these guys, and he's been successful. The strike to the tied shortstop. And he rips that one into the gap in right center field. Long will challenge. There will be no play at the plate as White scores standing. A big hit by the tied shortstop, and Alabama now leads it 8-2. Adam Pavkovich.
Well, the academic all-SEC performer Pavkovich, smart with the bat too. Nice inside-out swing. Take it where it's pitched.
Bama's put a 3 spot up again. They did in the first, 2 in the second, and now 3 again here in the third, and it's not over. So go to the number 9 hitter, Alan Rice, who sacrificed back in the second inning. It was a huge play. Fouls that one straight back, and that may have caught part of our microphone with the sound that it made.
Yeah, Alan Rice's last at bat. 9-hole hitter comes up with first and second, nobody out, lays down a beautiful sacrifice, almost beat the throw. This time he has a chance to swing the stick.
That one's got the corner. It's 1-2. And when you're left-handed and you've got a runner on first, pulls Brinson over to hold the runner, you've got that gap between second and first. 1-2. Now he kind of whiffed, just waved at that one, did Alan Rice, but not before the damage is once again done by the Alabama Crimson Tide, as they score 3 runs on 3 hits, 4 hits. A couple of men left on base. Alabama leads at 8-2 here on CSS.
Go Dogs!
Roll Tide!
All right, thanks.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark or outside. You know that they, Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes, who bring you baseball here, CSS, SEC baseball, they have actually designed, this has become so popular here at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, they now have, and I'm sure that's where the flags were from, they have an RV park now. They've got cable hookups and water hookups and electricity. And let me tell you, there's a lot of Mississippi State and LSU RVs over there too. John Mungo leads things off here for the Bulldogs in their half of the 4th inning, who took the initial lead 2-0, but Bama's now scored 8 straight. Airs off, roll to right, and that'll drop in front of Travis Garner for the hit. So the number 9 hitter for Mississippi State gets things going for them in their half of the 4th inning.
Number 7, shortstop Matthew
Maniscalco, the top of the order, and the shortstop.
Now if you're Taylor Tankersley and the Alabama staff, your philosophy changes pitching wise. All you want to do is throw strikes, get ahead of the hitters, make them put it in play, and make them earn everything they get. You don't want to be walking guys, you don't want to be hitting guys, you don't want to be throwing it around the yard, trying to do too much. You got a 6-run lead with a guy out there that has not started but 2 games all year. You're going to ride him as long as you can and then let the bullpen take over if you're Alabama. In Mississippi State, you're only in the 4th inning, you're 6 runs down. You're going to chip away, try to get 1 or 2 here and there. Give yourself a chance to win in the late innings.
Mississippi State knows it. They're sitting on fastball. That one's a line shot right to McClanahan in center. Let your defense back you up. You're exactly right, Kevin. That is the strategy. 1 out.
Number 5,
And that will bring up Chad Henry, the second baseman, who was popped out and singled.
Especially in a yard like this too, Matt, that's so pitcher friendly. All you have to do is just keep the balls down and throw strikes if you're a pitcher, and you're going to stay in there a while.
That one caught the inside corner. Plus, it's a little easier to just rock and fire, and he is well above the 70 pitch mark now, so don't groove it, but throw it over the plate and let your defense do something about it. The off-speed misses upstairs.
Well, if you're Takersley, you can almost use this experience now with a 6-run lead is almost like a bullpen work. Just go out there and hit your spots. Make them earn it.
Ground ball to second, could be 2. Short, second, first. Boy, that's Tankersley's best friend right there. He got him 1, 2, 3, kept his pitch count down, and has kept his team in it as we have played 3.5, and Alabama leads it 8-2. SEC baseball on CSS. 7,000-8,000 when you say, Kevin, here at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium for Game 2. Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes bringing you all the action of Alabama Mississippi State. And Tide is taking control of this one as we go to the bottom of the 4th. That's what they call the grassy knoll along right and left field lines here at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. And it's obviously a great place to take in the ball game and some sunshine, or both.
And another Southeastern Conference tournament tradition during the break, the chicken dance.
And I'm hoping that you'll treat me later with a little of the Kevin Hayes version. Pitch is in there. Latcher continues to throw as he came in at the end of last inning for Mississippi State. And he faces the top of the order for the Tide: Travis Garner, Peter Stonard, and Jeremy Brown. Up top, 1-1. There's our wonderful perch just above home plate. Just missed up. It's 2-1. I can't figure it out. I'm losing all my hair and you're just cutting yours short. What's the deal?
I lost my hairbrush.
Well, you don't need it now. It's 2-1. Shot to left field. Going back and making the grab, though, is John Mungle. And he hadn't played a lot out there in left field, but he has had a lot of opportunities. Dropped his glove over the fence on the home run. Had to go back on another one. And I thought for a minute he didn't get back quick enough, Kevin.
Mungle took 2 steps in and then had to readjust. Played that one very nicely. Ran back. Didn't put his glove up until he had the ball. Some outfielders make that mistake of running with their glove out like that, you know, slowing them down. Mungle made a nice play on that ball.
That is the first time in this ball game that Mississippi State has retired the Tide leadoff hitter, which usually gets you into trouble. The 0-1. That's a towering pop to second. Chad Henry, he's going to let Maniscalco call him off. He makes the catch. 2 quick outs.
Number 14.
That'll bring up the third, the number 3 hitter, Jeremy Brown, for the Crimson Tide. He has walked and scored, singled and scored. Already a nice afternoon for Jeremy Brown, the Tide catcher.
If you're Mississippi State, we talked about Alabama perspective defensively. In the other half, Mississippi State, you want to try to keep them close here, not let them run away from you, because in the Southeastern Conference tournament there is a run rule. So you want to try to keep them within arm's length.
Brown, the senior, 5'10", 208. Takes the second one in there. It's 0-2.
Brown, the veteran, taking a couple of pitches. Trying to make that pitcher work a little bit.
Yeah, you get the 2 quick outs. You don't want to let them out that easy. That's a veteran play. You're right, Kevin. 1-2. Latcher. There's a short chopper to third. Tough play. Gendron throws. Can't get him. Bad throw. Turning and making his way to second is Brown, and he will get there easily. They'll score that an error on the third baseman, Steve Gendron.
That's a tough error for Gendron. He has to come a long way to make this play, playing deep on a guy like Jeremy Brown. Has to throw off balance.
He may have hit Jeremy Brown. Did he catch him down around the wheels somewhere?
I couldn't tell.
Scott McClanahan, the tied cleanup hitter and center fielder, who has a homer and 3 RBIs back in the first inning, flew to deep center. First pitch swinging and a pop to right field. Should be no trouble for Enrico Jones, and with the exception of the error, a pretty easy inning for Jeff Latcher, and the first time the Tide has gone without scoring. We played 4 complete. Bama leads at 8-2. Proud to bring you SEC baseball from the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, where I want to remind you, you can design your own official SEC gear, including tees and sweatshirts for a look that's uniquely you. It's only at secstore.com. We go to the top half of the 5th inning. Give me a little thought on Taylor Tankersley and his outing. It's just his 3rd start of the year. Good player, good pitcher out of the bullpen. He's not used to this role, though, and after a rough start in the first, he's accepted it, Kevin.
Well, like you said, first inning jitters, hasn't started much this year. After that, he's been fine. I think if you're Jim Wells, you're going to try to ride this guy as long as you can and let your Shane Sanders and Lance Cormier's and Jeremy Norris's, your weekend starter guys, rest as long as they can. Foul ball back this way.
Pretty close to us.
Because if Jim Wells can make it to Friday without using any of his weekend starters, he thinks he's got a good shot at winning the tournament.
How important is it as far as the regionals and sub-regionals for Wells to take this thing?
It's not important for next week.
Right.
It's important for super regionals because the top 8 teams will host super regionals. So it's important for Alabama, from their perspective, to at least make it to Saturday or Sunday if they want to host the 2nd round of regionals.
Brinson is your hitter. 1-1. Just missed 2-1. .65 left-handed Matthew Brinson, 323 hitter, and yes, he can go yard on you. He's got 14 on the year, and he hits that one pretty well. But McClanahan's going to drift in a few steps and glove it. 1 out.
We talked about Alabama. Mississippi State, Ron Polk was quoted as saying that he thinks that they need to win a couple of games at this tournament to get into a regional, because they were not they don't have a great conference record, and they started off slow, but they are of late a hot hitting baseball club.
Nice curveball by Tankersley there.
I think Ron Polk's wrong. I think they're in the regionals regardless.
Not bad for a reliever, huh, Kev?
Not bad at all. Not a strikeout pitcher. Haven't seen many breaking balls to right-handed hitters. We've seen a lot to lefties. Most of the right-handed hitters are getting fastballs and changeups. So now the 3rd time through, we'll see if the right-handed hitters just start sitting on something.
That was wasted foul. It's 1-2.
And I don't mean any disrespect to Ron Polk when I say he's wrong. I just think with a school like Mississippi State and their baseball tradition and the way they travel, and the fact that he's back at Mississippi State as head coach in his first year back, the fact that they are a hot club now, I think that makes them an automatic regional club.
He told me, and of course folks know Polk went to Georgia for a couple of years, and he flipped that program around in 2 years. He told me the other day, so I moved back to Starkville. I just rented my house, so I just moved back into the same one. That one's in. Full count. That man is consumed by the game of baseball. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's 24/7, 365 days a year. It's baseball. There's a payoff pitch, and that one did hit a microphone or something attached to it. I think you could hear. So we'll do the full count pitch once again. The hitter is Steve Gendron, the 3rd baseman. 1 for 2. And he's gone a walk.
Number 20, the catcher.
See Tankersley, as soon as a base runner reaches first base, a pitcher will go back and look at the shortstop or second baseman. You see the pitchers doing that signal, you, me, you, me. They always want to know who's covering that bag if there's a ground ball hit back to the pitcher for a double play.
Runner on first. Big swing by Jason Berkeley, the catcher.
Well, that's a good sign if you're a pitching coach, too. You see a pitcher walk a guy, you're up 6 runs, and he walks a guy. He's not hanging his head. He's already looking forward to the next opportunity.
Berkeley. You heard the sound of that one. Pop into the catcher's mitt of Jeremy Brown. It was a ball, though. It's 1-1, 1 out. We're in the top half of the 5th inning here at the Hoover Met. And the Tide's on top 8-2. Chopped that one. May have gotten a little of his foot where he's limping around. Catchers, though, they stay beat up. Tankersley out of the stretch. He will check the runner at first. Ingrid. Fastball blew it right by him. Just absolutely blew it past Berkeley. It's just his 3rd strikeout, but that's 2 outs for Goodson.
Tankersley just rears back and says, hey, I'm up 6 runs. Here it is. You hit it. You see Berkeley turns around and asks Maggs, is that ball in there? Is that ball a strike?
Goodson, who had the single and 2 RBIs back in the 1st. He chops one at the first baseman. Boyd nabs it, but it is foul. It's David Savage making the call. Down right on top of the play. It's a good call. Pretty easy call, though, really. It's right in front of him, isn't it, Ken?
Well, you see the play right there. The adage for umpires is anything from home plate to the front of the bag is the home plate umpire's call. Anything after that's the first base umpire. So David Savage, being in the right place at the right time, makes the right call.
Sweeping curveball. Got the corner. It's 0-2.
That's that looping overhand curve that we've seen him throw to lefty after lefty. He's been up a lot with that pitch. Looks like he's now starting to catch the groove a little bit, get that thing in the strike zone.
Here's the 0-2 to Goodson. Ground ball right at Boyd. He gloves it, bobbles it momentarily, then calls off the pitcher. Tankersley takes himself. And Taylor Tankersley gets out of that one pretty easy. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left on base. 8-2. Tide still leads. Nice little golf course near there too.
I can't get my family into the places you go to, Matt. That's too high rent for me.
That's free.
That's what I mean.
Alabama's on top, 8-2. We go to the Tide half of the 5th inning. Brent Boyd, first baseman, recorded the last out for State in the frame previous. Takes a pitch, a ball. It's 1-0. Boyd showing signs of coming out of his slump. It's 3 of 29 coming into this game. Very un-Brent Boyd-like. But he ripped a single last inning, and he lifts this one high and short right. And Rico Jones lost it in the sun. You could tell at the last minute he had to bail on it. That's twice, once for Alabama, that time for the Bulldogs, that we've seen that high sun here. There are no clouds. It is a high light blue sky, which just creates havoc for the fielders.
And Rico Jones loses the ball in the sun, and Brent Boyd, the mark of a good veteran hitter, watch him hustle all the way out of the box. He's hustling all the way. And if he had not been hustling, he'd still be standing on first base.
And he might be in the dugout because Wells won't put up with that. Run it out. He did. That one's fouled back up and above us. Chad White, who had a huge double over Enrico Jones' head in right field just a couple of innings ago. Drove in a couple. And they will score that a double, and rightfully so, don't you think, Kev?
I think so. That's the right call.
In reality, he really never got glove on it. That fastball was away. It's tough for a pitcher like Latcher, who's trying to pull his team back together. You know, that's an out. Unless the sun is like it is today here at the Hoover Met.
Well, if you're a pitcher, you see that ball go up, and you're thinking, okay, that's one.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't expect to see that batter standing on second base with no outs.
Ball. It's 2-1. Good look at White. Chad White starting in left for the tie. I mentioned the double. He flew out back in the first, so he's 1 for 2. Latcher out of the stretch. That one's pounded foul. It's 2-2. White from Prattville, Alabama, just south of here, above Montgomery. He's a sophomore, 6'2", 200-pounder. Check swing, a bouncer to short. They'll throw over to first and get him. That had the potential of being a tough play, but I think he checked his swing and swung a little harder, and that had allowed Maniscalco to throw over to first.
Well, this has the effect of a sacrifice bunt, even though it won't be scored that way. He takes it off the ground, Matt. Watch this ball bounces on the ground and comes up and hits the bat.
That's bat control.
That looks like John McEnroe in a half volley at Wimbledon. So now Mississippi State, with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, are going to have to bring the infield in.
And Herod steps up, and he is 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. He scored back in the second. That one's upstairs. It's 1-0. Herod, the junior from Jennings, Louisiana. 1-0. That's in there. Latcher's done a pretty nice job of cooling the tide off a little bit. The run was scored on the third while he was in, but not charged to him. It went to Brock. That one's fouled directly back.
I think that ground mic is it's got a big bullseye on it down there.
In SEC play, Herod's batting .315. He also tends to go deep more. He's got 5 home runs and 22 RBIs in league play. Not going to get anything there. A nice pitch. Latcher had him fooled on that one. The strikeout.
Latcher sets him up with some good fastballs and pulls the string on the 1-2 pitch to get a strikeout.
The Tide shortstop, Adam Pavkovich, will step up. He's got a perfect day going. Walked and scored back in the second. And singled in the third. And he bats here in the 5th inning. Tomorrow, tune in to CSS for second round coverage of the SEC baseball tournament. We've got 4 games beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on CSS. It's your source for sports in the Southeast. I believe you and I will be right back here.
Gladly.
Absolutely. That one misses to the Tide shortstop. It's 1-0. Runner at third, that's Brent Boyd, who received a Sun-aided double to lead this inning off. Pavkovich can't catch up with that one. He chops it foul. It's 1-1. Alabama's leadoff hitter has reached in 4 of 5 innings. Look at Jim Wells. Has really turned things around in Alabama. Had a couple of off here recently, but a lot of people think this Tide team has been ranked in the top 10, the top 5 most of the year, has a chance to go to Omaha. A lot of baseball between now and then. That's in there for a strike. It's 1-2. I want to thank some of our Comcast Sports Southeast subscribers. Channel 70 in Little Rock, Arkansas. Charter Sports Southeast, Channel 21 in Greenville, South Carolina. Hello there. And right here in Birmingham, Charter Sports Southeast is Channel 15. That's fouled back and should make the seats. Brinson gave it a look, but that's about 5-10 rows back. In case you're just joining us, State put 2 in their half of the first inning on the board, but Alabama has gone 3, 2, and 3. They did not score in the 4th inning, have not yet scored here in the 5th, and they are in command 8-2. Kevin, you know, Mississippi State, Ron Polk, aluminum bats. It can change on a dime.
and probably will.
There is a shot to left by Pavkovich. That is going to find the corner. Mungle catches up with it. Boyd scores very easily on the stand-up double by Alabama shortstop, and it's 9-2.
Some pretty good production from the 8-hole hitter for Alabama. Pavkovich takes a fastball that's a little bit up in the zone, gets around on it well, dumps it into left field for an RBI double. He's now 2 for 2 on the day with a walk and already a run scored.
That brings up the number 9 hitter, Alan Rice. Misses. It's 1-0. Rice had that beautiful sacrifice bunt to advance runners back in the second and set him up. And he whiffed back in the third, so he's 0 for 1. He hits a shot. That one's into left field, and coming home to score easily is Adam Pavkovich, and the Tide has now hit double digits at 10-2. Rice ripped that to left. Went with the pitch perfectly, Kevin Hayes.
Exactly.
Number 11, right fielder.
Alan Rice, a local product from close by Pelham, after what he would probably refer to as a weak at bat last time. You know, he wanted to come up there and do something with a runner in scoring position, and he does just that, driving in Adam Pavkovich to give Alabama an 8-run lead, and that will get the dog pen up and going again.
Back to the top of the order. It's Travis Garner for the Tie. And he has a nice afternoon going. Singled, actually doubled, stole a base and scored in his first at bat. Drove home a run with a ground ball in the second and then flew out to left back in the fourth. Rice at first. Not a real threat, but has stolen a couple. 4 in 6 attempts. Actually be more than a couple, it'd be 4. But he does not have a stolen base like lead. That one just missed. 1-2, 2 out here. And the Tide half of the 5th inning. Garner, 344 hitter. Took that one low, 2-2. Garner has hit safely in 20 of his last 22 games. Well, let's make that 21 out of 23, because as he goes down on strikes, he did have the double earlier in this baseball game. The Tide scores again, and they now lead Mississippi State after 2 runs in the 5th, 10-2. SEC baseball on CSF. You want out there, Kev? I'll pick up the tab.
I'll take one of each. Thank you very much.
Okay, I said one now. Top of the 6th inning for the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who need a rally. While you have the potential of scoring a lot in one inning, you'd like to get 2 and 3 here so you can get yourself back in it for the 8th and 9th innings. Well,
if Mississippi State doesn't score 1 run in the next 2 innings, they're going to be done, because the Southeastern Conference Tournament has a run rule, and it's 8 runs after 7. So Mississippi State needs to start now.
Casey Long is the hitter, center fielder. He is singled and struck out, 1 for 2. And there is the story of the game, wouldn't you say?
Without a doubt.
Taylor Tankersley, a reliever, only his 3rd start of the year, has gone 5 complete, and he's working here in the first half of the 6th inning.
And he is basically 6 outs away from a complete game.
It's a freshman, too.
Is a freshman, which is exactly what Alabama wanted, to rest some of their regular starters. Jim Wells, if this thing keeps on like it is, could not have drawn it up any better. 7-inning game, doesn't have to waste anybody. Tankersley's probably done for a while.
Yeah, 2 or 3 games, and maybe come back in a relief role maybe over the weekend.
You see his pitch count as he goes over 100 pitches.
Wow, but he was back at 70, 4 or 5 innings in, so he's really held his pinch count down in the last couple innings. That one's fouled up along, fouled above us, and heard it hit the metal facade above the press box. That's okay. A few of the guys in there need shaking up. But as impressive as he is going into the 6th inning, I think the most impressive in my mind is that he didn't tank it in the 1st inning. There's a freshman out there in an SEC tournament start, and he gets rocked by a traditional squad like Mississippi State, but it doesn't shake him up. He comebacks and throws up goose eggs in 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think that's as impressive a job as we've seen here in a while.
Well, and State's got 7, 8, and 9 coming up here in the 6th. You figure if you're Alabama, if you can get through this inning okay, you might have a shot.
Right at McClanahan in center, although Casey Long caught that one on the screws. That's when you get back to the dugout and hate that the 2 words that come at you: tough out. I don't care if it's a tough out. That should have been in the gap, and I should be standing on second. That brings up Enrico Jones. Jones, the right fielder, struck out and flied out. Enrico's a pretty big fella. 6'2", 208 pounds. He's a senior from Pascagoula. The count is even at 1-1.
And if Mississippi State does not get a run here in the 6th, and Alabama doesn't get a run in the 6th, you'll see something in the 7th that you don't see very often. And you'll see a team down 8 playing for 1, just to stay in the game.
Anything to keep it alive. Strike, it's 1-2. Tankersley has now gone as long as he's ever gone in his career. 6 1/3. He's gone 5 1/3. He went 6 1/3 versus Georgia State. That one's fouled back, so he's got a chance to set a career mark here. Nice catch in the upper deck. Here is the 2-2 from Tankersley to Enrico Jones. He slaps that one foul too. The Hoover Met seats a little over 10,000. It'll hold much more than that with a standing room along the right and left field lines. You get a brief look there. The 2-2 from Tankersley upstairs, and we'll run it to full. But when such players as Bo Jackson and a guy named Michael Jordan played here once, this place held close to 15,000. Jones fouls off another one, spoils another pitch, and will remain full.
Well, I think was it 1999 when Alabama and Arkansas played on the championship
had over 11.
Sunday? They announced 15-5 for the championship game.
Nice at-bat by Enrico Jones. Spoiled enough of Tater Tankersley's pitches to draw the walk. So rally time here for Mississippi State, and they need him. John Mungle.
Number 15, left fielder John Mungle.
He has popped up and singled, 1 for 2. A little conversation at the mound. That's Jim Wells just come out of the tied dugout. He's just checking to see, okay, you still got it. I'll leave you in if you're all right, and that's when the pitcher's got to tell you the real deal, correct?
Well, the pitcher knows that there's nobody warming up in the bullpen, so this is not one of those are you okay, are you not okay deals. This is one of those strategy trips. Jim Wells, from the Skip Bertman School of baseball coaches, he acts as his own pitching coach, so he's just reminding him of the situation. Keep your mechanics going, keep the ball in play, let's get some outs.
Visit SECsports.com for real-time stats and information on all of the SEC 2002 baseball tournament. Oh, that one hit him. That's not what Jim Wells discussed. Lefty on lefty, don't hit John Mungle. He did just that. You can hear that one too.
Big mistake here. Hitting the 9-hole hitter. That's what we talked about a couple of innings ago. If you're Alabama, you just want to throw strikes, make them put the ball in play, make them earn it. You don't want to just walk them and hit them and give them free passes.
It's just his 5th hit batsman in over 60 pitched innings.
Alabama's going to get their bullpen going again. I think that's Jared Woodward going down for the second time
Ground
today.
ball second, backhanded, thrown over. Terrific double play, and Stoner got to force it second, then threw over to Boyd. That was a terrific play, and Tankersley is the first one to congratulate him. We go out and look at this double play that helps the Tide keep a 10-2 lead. That's a very common cheer in these parts, especially when you're up 10-2. Father and son. That is a great shot. And a moment that child will probably remember for a long time. As State has gone to a new pitcher. I think Latcher did a terrific job in holding Alabama down for a while. He did give up 2 runs eventually in the 5th, but he put goose eggs on each side of that. We got Saunders Ramsey pitching for the Bulldogs.
Here you take a look at his numbers. Only his 6th appearance of the year. I think Ron's just trying to get him some work. Maybe trying to save Latcher for later in the weekend. And Ramsey can come on and get Alabama up and down here in the 6th inning. Show Ron Polk that he's got another guy in the pen that can give him an inning or 2 in postseason.
Alabama will go to the number 2 hitter in the order. That's Peter Stoner, who made a terrific play. How often does that happen? A guy makes a great defensive play and then he leads off the inning. He is a single and 3 at-bats. Hitting .411. Takes a strike.
The numbers on Latcher unofficially: 2 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and 2 strikeouts.
Deep to short, the throw over. That is Maniscalco. And there's 1 quick out for the Tide here in their half of the 6th inning. Coverage of the SEC baseball tournament for 2002 continues on CSS this evening. 45 minutes at the conclusion of this game. LSU and Auburn right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. That brings up the number 3 hitter, Jeremy Brown. He's had a nice afternoon. Walked and scored, singled and scored, and reached on an error. Ball, 1-0.
A brief caveat to that last promo: that scheduled starting time for Auburn LSU is 5 o'clock Central. This game ends early. They will not start that game before 5 o'clock, because it will be the first game of the 2nd session.
Right.
As I understand it.
You're correct, and all which thrills Matt Stewart. Sidewinder, shot to third, not well handled by Gendron, and we'll see how they score it. As Brown will reach. We'll look to the official score and get the thumbs up or the thumbs up. It was hit really hard. Well, a lot of times they'll take that into consideration.
He hit it hard, but you see Gendron there almost lets the ball play him instead of taking an aggressive approach. They will score it a hit, which I think is fair. I think in college baseball, anytime there's a question as to whether it should be a hit or an error, it should always be a hit. These guys aren't making $1 million a day to play. Not yet, anyway.
And I'm not sure I'd play third base with aluminum bats anyway. I mean, it takes a guy with some courage to get over there anyway. And that gives Brown his 2nd hit. He's having a great afternoon. He is 2 for 3 now. There's a pop straight up. Maniscalco, the shortstop, gloves it. 2 outs.
Little ice cream cone on that one, Matt. That was close. Saw the Mississippi State fans. You heard them go woo. That one almost popped out of Matt's glove.
First baseman Brent Boyd.
Probably could have flipped over to get the force at second, but still, you don't drop those. It's a little on the embarrassing side. Brent Boyd, 2 for 3 for the Tide, steps up. Get the pitch up. Hear the fans. That one caught the strike zone, though. It's 0-1. Ground out, single and scored, single, double and scored. That's Brent Boyd's day. Middle of the Tide order. Of course, double, he had a little help from Saul, did he not? Hit a towering fly ball to right field, and Enrico Jones lost it in the sun. But anything to get out of a 3 for 29 slump, which he's done with a 2 for 3 outing here this afternoon against Mississippi State. Brent Boyd, the 1-1. Tried to slap that one to right. It's going to be fouled back about 2 rows behind the first base dugout.
It's just like Crash Davis said, just a little flare and I'm out of this thing. And that's all Brent Boyd needed, was just a break like that to go his way.
A dying quail, a ground ball with eyes. A great baseball movie. One, two. Saunders Ramsey, the third pitcher for Mississippi State. He's a sidewinder. That one goes up. It's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Now he reached out and slapped that. That's a beautiful piece of hitting by Boyd there. That'll drop for a single. And Stoner will come around. The throw to third, and then alertly Boyd goes into second. That's just the way Jim Wells coaches it. From the hitting to the execution on the base path.
Well, and again, Brent Boyd gets a little help from Enrico Jones here. Enrico, if he hits his cutoff man here, Brent Boyd stays at first base. But he tries to airmail it all the way to third, and Brent Boyd, as soon as it passes the cutoff man, he's down to second base.
And that's Brown down to third, not Stoner. My error. E. Booth. 2 outs for Chad White. Takes a strike.
There seems to be some discrepancy over the run rule. I've just now been told that it's 10 runs after 7, so.
Oh, that's 2 E's in the booth in this inning. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. Ramsey gloves it. He'll throw over. And he gets out of the inning, but the Tide did threaten with a couple of hits, but no runs. No errors and a couple of men left on base. Bama still leads it 10-2. I'll take one of those, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those, 1 of those, 2 of those shirts. Thank you, man. SEC merchandise, you can find it here at the Ball Yard and at SECstore.com. Mississippi State need a little help as we go to the 7th. They're down 8. And Tankersley continues to go. Taylor Tankersley, the left-hander, a freshman. After giving up the 2 spot in the first inning, Kevin Hayes, along with Matt Coulter. Kevin, he has really done a remarkable job.
I think it's the ultimate example of a guy just settling down. You know, he gives up those 2 runs in the first inning. His club comes back and gives him 3, and then after that, you've just seen a different pitcher. Confidence-wise, hitting the zone, getting ahead of hitters, with a couple of exceptions last inning. He's done exactly what Jim Wells wants him to do.
And as you noted a couple of innings ago, you get that big of a lead, you can just start rocking it. Rock and fire, as the old high school coach used to tell us. And that's what he's doing as he gets the first 2 over quickly to the number 2 hitter, Chad Henry. As you saw a moment ago, 1 for 3. Singleton scored back in the first. A good point in the order for Mississippi State to try and get back into this baseball game. The 2, 3, 4 hitters are up. And that is up. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 from Tankersley. Fly ball, center field. McClanahan drifts over to his left. About 15-20 steps. 1 down.
If you've ever been to a home baseball game at Alabama, there is a group of people that sit out behind the right field fence. Grand Slammers Booster Club. There's a big sign out there that they attach to their facade that says 2/3 of the world is covered by water. The other third is covered by Scott McClanahan.
They used to say that. I think originally, I'm going to show my age, I think they said it about a guy named Oscar Gamble.
And we'll see his son in the next game, who plays for Auburn.
Timing is everything. Ground ball, Boyd over the tank. That's a pretty play. Those are the plays you work at in your fall drills when it's cold and you don't want to be out there and it's not a lot of fun. But that's fundamental baseball, Kevin.
Tankersley doing everything that's asked of him. Doesn't forget to get over once he makes a good pitch and induces the ground ball.
So Brinson's down, and that brings up the cleanup hitter, Steve Gendron, who is 1 for 2.
Tankersley with a little grin on his face. It's almost as if to say, boy, I'm glad I don't have to see Brinson again.
There's a line drive. Nice piece of hitting there by the Bulldogs' third baseman, and he gets aboard with 2 outs with a sharp single to right field. And now that Taylor Tankersley has gone 6 2/3, we can officially give him his longest outing of the year. That brings up the catcher, Jason Berkeley. 0 for 2. He walked back in the first. He steps in to face 0 for 2. He walked back in the first. He steps in to face Tank with 1 aboard. You could get a couple here if you're Mississippi State. Get a couple more in the 8th. You could be back in this thing. But down 8 right now, things don't look good for Mississippi State. Tankersley put a little extra on that one and blew it past Jason Berkeley.
Now, if you're Mississippi State and Ron Polk, you know you're running out of outs. You need to try to do something here pretty quickly.
That one's fouled back.
See Ron giving the old hit it sign. Not many signs you can give when you're down 8.
Yeah, no such thing as a 6, 7, 8 run blast, is there? State's bats can rattle. Just outside.
We talked about an 0-2 pitch earlier in the game. Must have purpose. This is an 0-2 pitch with purpose. About 6 inches off the plate. The catcher sets up. He pops the mitt. Everybody in the yard thinks it's a strike, but it's a good 0-2 pitch.
There's a looper into short left field. Mack goes to tied shortstop. Afterwards makes the play. 3 outs. Tankersley is cruising, and so is Alabama. 7th inning stretch time at the Hoover Met. Bama leading 10-2. This fall, tune in to CSS for extensive coverage. All your favorite college football teams will have live football action on Saturdays and re-air regional games throughout the week. That's right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Crowd here still standing at the Hoover Met at the conclusion of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, which my son, who was 7, Matt, informed me the other day that it's buy me some peanuts and Apple Jacks. A little confusion with the snack as opposed to the cereal.
Whatever works.
Bo Herod, Pavkovich, who just gloved to end the top half of the 7th inning for Mississippi State, and Allen Rice due up for the tie.
Pinch hitting for Alabama, number 12, Zach Welch.
Ramsey, Saunders Ramsey, remains in the game. But we have a pinch hitter for Alabama. That's Zach Welch. The lefty swings and fouls the first pitch off. Welch, a .219 hitter, has a homer and 9 RBIs. He's an infielder, a freshman from Wellington, Alabama. 6'3", 225. And he bats here in the Tides half of the 7th inning, with Bama up 10-2. The sign from Berkeley. Ramsey set, the sidewinder. Pop to third. Third baseman is called off, and Maniscalco gloves it. 1 down. Did not get as much of that as he wanted.
Number 4, shortstop Adam Pavkovich.
The shortstop, Adam Pavkovich, steps up, and he has had a great, as you mentioned earlier, a great outing, especially for a guy no more for his glove at short, batting in the 8 holes, 2 for 2.
Pavkovich will get a little bit different look now from the sidewinder Ramsey.
That is a wicked thing to look at from the right side, isn't it? It looks like he's throwing that thing out of the third base dugout.
Well, if you're a right-handed hitter, it's so hard to keep that front shoulder in against something like that, because when it leaves his arm, it looks like it's coming right at your knee.
Good pitch there. Strike. It's 2-1. Auburn and LSU are next. Fly ball center field. Pavkovich tagged that one. I don't believe he's going to catch up with it. It's Casey Long in center. Pavkovich is going to cruise in for the perfect 3-for-3 afternoon. He scorched that ball to the deepest part of this yard, right in front of the 405 sign.
Well, Long was playing him kind of shallow. I don't think that Mississippi State expected Pavkovich to charge one like he did. But he takes it to the deepest part of the yard. One hops it off the wall. And his hot hitting continues.
Walked and scored, singled in the 3rd, doubled in a run back in the 5th, and has doubled again. So he's got a single and 2 doubles. That pitch is inside, and a nice play by Berkeley to keep it from going to the backstop. Alan Rice, the tied third baseman, is the hitter. He's 1 for 2. You see the numbers there. Great sacrifice too. Help the Tide back out in the 2nd inning when they really were looking for runs. Of course, they would like to have a couple here and get that cushion of 10 and end this game early. I'm sure that's not in the back of Wells' mind. That is in the front. When you're going to play so many games in so few days, get your team some rest. Keep their legs. He draws a walk. Good at bat for Rice.
Number 11, right fielder Travis Garner.
Back to the top of the order, you hear from the public address. That's Travis Garner. He has a hit in 4 trips. Got double RBI. Double in the run scored in the stolen base back in the 1st. He drove in a run in the 2nd on a ground ball to short. Saunders Ramsey reached back for a little bit right there and just blew it past Garner.
Defensively for Mississippi State, you got runners at 1st and 2nd. If you're outfielders, you want to kind of play deep, keep that ball in front of you, because a gapper will end the game.
There's a little looper in the center field. Coming on is Long. Reaches out, dives, can't get it. And a run will score. Coming in is Pavkovich. And Bama is 1 run away from ending this thing. Garner just lifts it into short center. Long can't quite get it, Kev.
Poor Casey Long. He's had Adam Pavkovich take one over his head while he's playing shallow. Now they're playing deep to prevent against gappers. And Garner hits one off the fist and bounces it right in front of him.
And that brings up Peter Stoner, the 2nd leading hitter in the SEC at 4'11". Flying shot, right field. Coming around is Rice. They'll hold him. That was hit so sharply that Enrico Jones got to it in a hurry, and they would have had a good shot at gunning Rice down at the plate, who waited to make sure it got through. So the Tide has the sacks full for Jeremy Brown.
Number 14, catcher Jeremy Brown.
And now with a runner on 3rd base, all Jeremy Brown has to do is get one out of the infield.
So will State pull everybody in?
I would think so. I would think that Ron would pull his outfielders in, pull the infielders in. You have to make a play at the plate to keep the game alive. Looks like Mungle in left field is still playing rather deep.
Now they're moving in. Well, at least Casey Long is in center.
But Long and Enrico Jones and Wright are both in.
Little dribbler. This could be two. To the plate. In the back. It hit Jeremy Brown in the back, so the bases will still be full, but there'll be two out. So
Number 24,
Rice is out at the plate.
Jeremy Brown looking to get one out of the infield and just barely misses one. And Jeremy Brown doing a nice job there, staying in the baseline in the runner's box after he reaches the 45-foot line. So he won't get called out.
First pitch swinging. Will it make the seats? Yes, it will. McClanahan hit the 3-run bomb back in the first to give Alabama the lead for good. Since then, he has flown out twice, once to deep center and popped out. So he's 1 for 4 with 3 RBI. You got to figure in pass balls and wild pitches here too. Errors. It could end the game. A walk. A hit batsman. McClanahan would just like to rip one into left field. Here is the 1-1 from Ramsey. Outside, it's 2-1. Again, a 10-run rule would take place if Bama could plate another tighter. They lead 11-2, as you see on our graphic in the upper left here on CSS. The sidewinder out of the stretch. Ground ball short. Flip over to second. Will play on. Alabama does get a run on 3 hits, and they strand 3. It's 11-2 tied on CSS. There's a great look at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. Obviously in Hoover, Alabama. Matt Coulter along with Kevin Hayes just on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, bringing you Southeastern Conference Tournament Baseball. Game 1, it was Florida coming back from a 2-0 deficit to defeat Georgia 7-2. Game 2, Alabama's in cruise control as they lead Mississippi State by a score 11-2. And oddly enough, Kevin Hayes, Mississippi State started off with a 2-0 lead, so maybe that's a bad omen in this tournament.
Bulldogs in the 8th inning, number 34, designated hitter Robbie Goodson.
Goodson, who's hitting in the 6 hole, will lead things off. 375 hitters, 1 for 2 this afternoon. And Tankersley, Taylor Tankersley, who is pitching the outing of his life without question. He had gone 6 1/3 earlier this year. He's taken this one into the 8th. 1-1. The left-hander got into a little trouble, gave up the 2 spot in the first inning, and he has baffled State since then. Inside 2-1. And he's a freshman. Vicksburg, Mississippi. How'd he get away from Ron Polk? Off the corner, it's 2-2. Ron may be wondering that right now. Goodson hits one into the alley in center field. McClanahan, though, drifts back. What did you say? 2/3 of the earth are covered by water, the other third by McClanahan. I thought that had a chance to get to the gap, and Scott just made that look easy.
Well, Scott McClanahan, I think, is probably one of the best center fielders that I've seen play in this league. And Matt, you and I have been watching this league for many, many years. Malin Kent, who just finished his career at Auburn last year, I thought was another guy that could just really cover some ground and just make a lot of tough plays look easy. That's what McClanahan does.
Malin Kent amazed the pro scouts with his ability to play defense. Because a lot of times that's where they're lacking when they get to that level. But I don't think McClanahan Kent going to have that problem. The 2-0 to Casey Long. It's 3-0. Waylon Kent at Auburn. Auburn and LSU are coming up. He missed him 4 straight there. So Casey Long is aboard for Mississippi State, and Enrico Jones steps up. CSS takes you into the wild on Sunday mornings with 3.5 hours of hunting and fishing. We begin at 8 a.m. Eastern right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. It's a lot of hunting and fishing.
Catch hitting for Mississippi State, number 3, Brent Lewis.
Brent Lewis is going to pinch hit for Enrico Jones. And the number 8 slot. It's not all that unusual to see Brent Lewis. He's played in 50 games. In fact, made 50 starts. He's a .315 hitter.
Well, when we got to the yard today, we thought that Lewis would be the starter in that spot. And then when Joe Deere brought the lineup over here, the SID from Mississippi State, we were all kind of surprised to see Enrico Jones. Maybe Ron was playing a hunch there somehow.
With all due respect to Lewis and Jones, I'm not sure it's going to make a whole lot of difference here. Although Tankersley has now thrown 6 straight balls. Nobody up in the Tide bullpen yet. That's 7. Tad of restlessness. Oh yeah, they're immediately jumping out now. Bama will get somebody up immediately. Looks like Jared Woodward once again. That's 8 straight balls. And now what Jeremy Brown's going to do is probably go out, talk, try and settle Tank down, but maybe give the pin a little time. Right,
well, Jared Woodward's been up twice again already today. This is his 3rd time up, so it won't take him long to get loose. Brent Boyd's going to go talk to Tankersley for a while, and then when Brent gets back to first base, Jeremy Brown will probably have a couple of words for him. You take a look at Woodward getting loose, sophomore from Tuscaloosa.
He sure would like to get the complete game, though. You know he would.
Well,
he
he's
may
done
be wearing out.
I think he's probably reached a point where his tank is probably empty.
Mungle, they may let him see the number 9 hitter here, and that may be it. That is 9 straight balls. This is the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, John Mungle for Mississippi State. He is 1 for 2, singled, hit by a pitch, popped up to short. He's missed again. Tankersley really wanted that one, did not get it. Jim Wells has the decision to make here. Either way, a game ball for Taylor Tankersley. There you go. 2-1.
Well, you got to think that this is Tankersley's guy to get out. There you take a look at his pitch count. 7 1/3 innings, 142 pitches. Just a monumental effort by a seldomly used starter.
It's fouled directly back, so it's 2-2.
And you know he's just got to be running on fumes and adrenaline at this point.
Conversely, this is a great opportunity for Ron Polk and Mississippi State to touch up a weary guy. Of course, Wells will not leave him out there that long, but you got Mungle with a chance to do something here. He has 2 home runs on the year. Here's the 2-2. That's slapped down the right field line, and that is trouble. Charging it is Garner. They will hold all the runners so the sacks are full, and State goes back to the top of the order with Maniscalco, Henry, and Brinson. Big time rally for Mississippi State when they need it.
Well, there you see Tankersley hanging a breaking ball. And I think Jim wanted to leave him in there to face the left-handed hitter. Now that Mississippi State's going to have the top of the order up, going to go ahead and get him out of there. And the Alabama faithful is going to let Tankersley know exactly what they think about his effort today.
High fives for Tank. We'll be right back.
Well, after Jared Woodward got up 3 times during the day to get loose, it's only fitting that he now comes into the game to relieve Taylor Tankersley. There you see Jared Woodward's numbers on the season. He is and has been Alabama's Wednesday starter during most of the year. So he'll come on and see if he can't squash this Bulldog rally in the 8th. And you see it.
There's the tank.
Tankersley.
That's the empty tank. First pitch is a strike from Woodward. And he comes into a little bit of a sticky situation here. Yeah, Alabama has an 11-2 lead, but State has a sacks full of Bulldogs and only one out. And the top of their order. This is Matt Maniscalco. That one just missed. It's 1-1.
Well, if you're Alabama up 11-2, you're trading outs for runs. You want to throw strikes, get ahead, make them put it in play.
Maniscalco, the 1-1 offering. Curveball up. Bama faithful wanted that one a call strike. Long, Lewis, and Mungle. John, State base runners.
John Magnuson behind the plate today has been consistent with that high curveball. He has not given that one all day. And now Woodward falls behind 3-1 to Maniscalco. No place to put him.
This is a 300 hitter who was hitless today, so you kind of figure he's due. He pops it straight up. Boyd, the first baseman, he's got to battle the sun. He gloves it.
Infield fly rule.
Boyd didn't play it like that. He was going to catch that.
Well, as soon as the ball goes up, you see all the umpires with the finger in the air. Infield fly. As long as it stays fair. And there's Tankersley's numbers for the day. Not overly impressive in terms of strikeout to walk ratio, but he did exactly what Jim Wells wanted him to do. Come in, give him some innings, keep his team in the game.
With 2 outs now, the hitter is Chad Henry. He pops it up to short left field. Shortstop going back. Now White will come in, and he makes the catch. So Bama gets out of a huge jam. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Mississippi State could not score. It's still 11-2. The Tigers awaiting their turn. We've got a cat fight coming up next. LSU and Auburn. That's at 5 o'clock. As we continue the 2002 SEC baseball tournament coverage right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. In the meantime, Alabama would like to end this. If they could get a run here in their half of the 8th inning, the 10-run rule would take effect, and the Tide would go to dinner. Mississippi State would get ready to play early in the morning. Brent Boyd, 3 for 4. Nice day. Ramsey, the sidewinder, the right-hander for Mississippi State, is still in the ball game. Saunders Ramsey. And his first pitch to Boyd is a ball. It's 1-0. Inside, 2-0.
Brent Lewis, who pinch hit for Enrico Jones last inning, goes to third base, and Gendron, who was at third, goes to right field for Mississippi State.
There is a line shot, just foul, only by a foot or so.
I think it's safe to say that Brent Boyd is out of his slump, Matt. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times, but he's also had a couple of breaks. A flare that bounced right in front of the right fielder, and then another one that Enrico Jones couldn't find in the sun.
He's had as many hits in his last 3 at-bats as he had in his previous 30. Yeah, slump's over. And he rips that one right at the shortstop. Maniscalco cannot handle it. I don't know how they'll score that. All the way. It was hit right at him. Boy, it was hit with some velocity.
Number 36, left fielder Chad White.
Well, he just spanked that one. Just ate up Maniscalco at short. Tried to play it on the short hop.
That brings up Chad White, the left fielder. He's got a hit in 4 at-bats. Now, you really think Wells may go ahead and try and play for the 1 here and get it over with? Like
I think so.
To the tune of sacrificing and moving them over.
I don't know about sacrifice, because you don't want to show up your opponent, but I think that if he has a chance to get a guy in, ABC baseball type, then he certainly will.
It's doubtful that he'll send Boyd. And there, they will need to sharp single to right field, station to station. Kevin just said. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Where you get that huge advantage when you're holding that runner, don't you?
And I'm really surprised that Mississippi State was holding a guy like Brent Boyd, who doesn't run that well in a 9-run game.
2 stolen bases in 3 attempts. Not a big threat to go. You really want to.
You almost think that if Brinson had not been holding him, that ball would have gone right to him. There's a chance for a 3-6-3 double play.
Hitter is Bo Herod. He singled and scored back in the second. Zach Welch, pardon me. Inside. It's 2-0.
Of course, Welch came on in the 7th and pinch hit for Herod. Flew out to the shortstop for the first out of the inning. He has a chance to end the game here.
And there's a ground ball to right field. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is up the line. Scoring is Brent Boyd, and that is the ball game. Gendron came up throwing. It was up the line. Birchley tried to come around and tag Boyd. It didn't happen. Bama scored. They win it in 8, 12-2. So the Alabama Crimson Tide, after falling behind 2-0, scores a dozen in a row, and they take game 2 of the SEC tournament, the final 12-2. We'll talk with Jim Wells, give you the totals and highlights when we come back.